think they feels something they missed from their workplace. I think not only that, they're in working relationship, and as people work together, men talk more when they're together. I think men can be a bit quiet at home and they feel sort of cut off.
What happens when men come together, not just to build, but to heal? Step inside the world of men's sheds, where men of all ages find purpose and forge connections in strengthening mental well-being. In today's episode, I'm joined by the president of the Coral Coast Men's Shed. He'll share with us his story of the reasons and benefits of why he joined the Men's Shed, and possibly what you get to learn from could have someone that you know that you can reach out to, such as your granddad, a father, a brother, or a son. So please stick around to find out more as we dive into the show. Hey guys, welcome back to the podcast On the Road with Ta. Today I'm joined by a special guest from the Coral Coast Men's Shed. Graham, welcome.
Yeah.
However, before we kickstart the show, as an icebreaker, I'd like to ask my guests one question. So the question is, who's been the biggest influence in your life and what did you learn from them?
Oh, big question, that one. I think I've had many influences on my life right through from the beginning. I'm rather a shy person by nature and a bit reclusive, so being in the shed and being the president of the shed was a bit of a challenge, which I wasn't expecting, and it's got from there.
Hey, look, so before we dive straight into the show, for those that don't know who you are, Graham, can you please just share with us who you are and your role here at the Coral Coast Men's Shed?
I was asked, well, the Men's Shed is this shed started in 2009 and in June 2009, and since then there was a lot of the person who originally started, Bernie Daniels, he started the shed here, and with the approval of the church here, he had access to a building on site. He was one of the elders of the church here and he wanted to start a shed here. He'd been around Australia and he'd seen a couple of sheds, I think in South Australia and Victoria, and he thought it was a good idea to start one here. He was originally in a trucking business and he got a group of people together and he started the shed on a small part of the property here. It went along very well for a while and then he left, he retired and went south. Then there was a period we had 2 or 3 new presidents over the next couple of years, and then there was a lot of bickering and carrying on and politicking, and it flew apart. At that point I was asked would I come in and help get it going again, which I've done since that. I came in 2013 and I've been in charge here for the last 11 years. So that's a bit about me and my role here. Yes.
Now, take us back to your journey in how you actually got started and how you got involved with the Men's Shed.
I too was one of the elders of the church here at the time, and I was asked would I take over, and I reluctantly said yes. There was only 2 or 3 people left, and after it flew apart, which I took over at that point and gradually built it up from that point, encouraged the people to work together and build it up and make it a strong one. Now we have 40 to 50 members, all up. So that's my role here. previous to that, I was working in Melbourne. I moved to Bargara, or about 16, 17 years ago, something like that. And yeah.
Oh, well, what attracted you to Bargara?
Well, my wife's people lived in Bundaberg, and it's a good climate here. Melbourne was, I reckon, for me it was the pits. I didn't like Melbourne very much. The climate I felt was horrible. I'd previously lived in New Guinea, and this was more the sort of climate that suited me, I felt, and I thought, yes, we bought a block of land not far from here, and we settled down and built there. I put an old house together, and yeah.
And so with that big move here, is that when you kind of discovered the men's shed, or was it someone?
It hadn't actually started at that point. I came here to the shed a couple of times, but not on a permanent basis. I became a member of the shed, I think, during that period, but I wasn't here regularly. Then when I was asked to come in, well, I did, and filled the role that I thought was necessary. And I did it a bit differently to what I was asked, but it seems to work very well.
Okay, so what were some of the biggest challenges that you faced during the early stages of running the shed?
Early on, in the first few months, we had a break-in to the shed. Since then, we've reinforced everything, so it's a lot more secure. We had a bit of stuff missing, but we managed to survive that okay, and gone on quite well since that time. We've just gradually added buildings and work and machinery, and it seems to work quite well. We've got a fair bit of new machinery coming in now. The place is a bit chaotic at the moment as stuff is moving in, and we're selling off the surplus, so yeah.
And so with the running and the organisation of the men's shed, what do you guys get in from the community, or how do you get involved with the community?
People come in from the community and ask for things to be done. We're always doing that. And we don't ask for a certain amount of money, we just ask them to give us a donation in return. And they do that. We at times have been asked to do things for schools or one thing and another, for different organisations. And we still do it, and we're still doing it over there at the moment, yes. So we're always part of the community here, yeah. And I think everybody enjoys it. We want good friendships, good fellowship with one another, and good relationship with the community, and we try to achieve that.
Nice, that's great. Great to hear. And so you mentioned earlier on about the politics of things. What changed?
We brought in a different system. Instead of having a lot of rules and regulations, we've had it so that when we sit down to talk and eat at the table for morning tea, we just, if anybody brings something up, all the men discuss it and we decide what we're going to do. It's more a communal thing, and it seems to have taken all the pressure off. We're not a little group doing this or a little group doing that. We work together to try and benefit the whole, and I think that's the secret.
Now, how do you feel running the men's shed from where you started to where you're currently at has progressed throughout the years?
Earlier on, it was I worked with all the people, but now there's too many to do just my own job or something I wanted. It's done by the group, and different people take different things on, and it all works together. Everybody's happy. Oh, I'd like to do that. or that sort of thing goes on, or why don't I do it? So that's how it works. It all works together, and I think the people feel all together that are in it. They're best of friends inside the shed and outside, and everybody gets on well.
So you say all the people that get involved with it of all nationalities?
Yes.
Or and what do they feel when they come to a place like this?
I think they feel something they missed from their workplace. I think not only that, they're in working relationship, and as people work together, men talk more when they're together, and I think men can be a bit quiet and at home, and they feel sort of cut off. But when they're in a group, there's a lot of bantering around and mucking around, and the people enjoy it, and that sort of relationship is important. And I think because of the way we work at things as a group, we're always trying to think of how we can do things better. There's a lot of mental input. Older people, I think that's important, to be able to work things out and to come to problems and problem solve. And I think, and not only that, people have exercise in doing whatever they're doing and so on. I think it's something that's very missing with older people, and it's fulfilled here.
Would you say it's just only for the old people as well? Like, is there like an age limit?
Over 18, you need to become a member, but we at times have people that are younger come in with a carer, and that's fine too. But to be a member, 18 years is what we've stipulated, 18 years and over. So we have had younger ones come in, but with carers. And we also have disabled come in with carers. We always ask for a carer to come in when somebody needs a carer with them, to come in and help them and make sure they don't do anything that they shouldn't do. Yes. And everybody keeps an eye on everybody else. Oh, I don't think you should do that, I'll do it for you. And there's this sort of thing go on, yes. It works as a community.
Hey guys, thanks for tuning back in. And if you're finding value in today's show, please subscribe and hit that like button. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can keep up to date with new stories each week. So let's dive back into the show. And so what's been the biggest reward and the outcomes of men that have come and gone through here that you've seen or noticed throughout the years?
We've had people, like I won't mention a person's name, was in his mid to late 80s. He joined and he said, I can't do anything. I want to get out of my house, and my wife has told me to get out and have some time outside, so I've come here. But I don't know, I've never touched a bit of wood in my life. And after a little while, with a bit of help of people around him, he was making all sorts of things, and he was enjoying it. We've had people that are disabled coming in now, and they feel really out of touch with what's going on in the community, and they can get in and make things and do things, and maybe with a carer's help, and work together, and they enjoy that, and they like to come along regularly. We've got many men here that come every time the shed's open. They don't like to miss it. Yeah, so there's that relationship thing that goes on, yes.
I remember when I first met you last week, there were a couple of guys that were working on their vans, their camper
Yes.
vans, so that was pretty amazing to see. So I suppose everyone's here to get to fix things of their own personal use.
They can do their own stuff as well, and sometimes we do communal stuff, tables or chairs or something brought in, we fix or do up for them where they can't get it done elsewhere or it's too difficult.
And you guys are working on a new project?
Oh, we've always had little projects that we're working on.
And what's this new one you guys
The
are working
new
on?
one at the moment is something of our own, a dust extraction system, which will be a big challenge, but we'll get it there.
And also, how can they, like if someone was interested in wanting to attend the workshop here or just interested just to see what it's like, what would they expect to like walk into on arrival, you know?
Usually I or one of the other men will go through the place with them, show them what we have, and let them see what's going on. Explain to them they can come for 2 or 3 times without paying anything, and they do that. But then they come and we take them right through, show them our old stuff, our new stuff, and what we're doing and what we're planning. And a lot of them are amazed at seeing how much scope there is.
And also, do you feel like there's something missing with men trying to find a place like this?
We mightn't be out there as much as we should be.
Why do you think that is?
How do you achieve that? There are not many facilities for doing that. We occasionally come onto the local radio, and sometimes we're asked to do a little thing, to put a little ad in the local rag, which we've done from time to time.
I'm hoping this can also be a part of trying to
Yep.
get your message out there.
We have quite a wide field of things. We do timber, we do metal, we have welding, we have metal lathes, we have wood lathes, we have MIG, we have TIG, we have gas, we've got stick welding, we've got plenty of wood tools, and we even have a little garden. Also, a lot of the men are interested in pulling things apart, and we have tools, old tools that are past it. We can take the metal out of them, we pull them apart. People are interested in seeing how they come apart, what's in them, how they work. Yeah, it's just a matter of interest.
What are some of the future goals that you'd like to see improved upon within the men's shed?
I think sometimes it's presumed that older men out of the workplace want to be told what to do and how to do it. There is a point to that, but most men, when they've retired, don't want somebody standing over them and telling them do this, do that. They want a freedom to do what they like to do and what they want to do. We try and keep things as safe as possible, and we want to continue doing that. And we want to build up some areas such as people can come and play games, which we don't have much facility for yet, but we're having a new area put on outside the shed where people can go, where there'll be tables where they can play whatever games. And at the back we want to put an area on where we keep our grinding away from our timber work, and that has been an issue. We did have a fire start twice, and we don't want that again. It's a matter of trying for us to keep things safe as possible, and with a shed out, a second shed, we'll keep the grinding there with nothing that can catch fire. So, and separate from the main building. And also a bit of cover for the people working on pulling machinery apart.
That's a good point. Good point to make. Oh, here's an idea. Maybe a lawns bowls in the back somewhere. Okay, then with that being said, then as we get close to wrapping up, what's 2 or 3 things you'd like for the listeners and the viewers to take away from today's discussion?
Well, if you're in the area, feel welcome to come and have a look. We're always open. We're open 4 days a week, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday and Saturday mornings. Mornings only. We open at theoretically at 8, but in actual fact, sometimes it's usually open a little after 7:30. People can come in, have a look, see if they like it, even come once or twice and see if they still like it, and then join. It's only $30 a year, and we put a gold coin when we come in for morning teas and other bits and running costs and things. We're always open to doing that, and I think anybody here in the area that wants to see, come in and have a look for yourself. I think you probably enjoy it. It's a bit boring when people come into one of the retirement homes. Men don't like, on a whole, to sit down 24/7 and just watch TV. There has to be something more to do than that, and relationship in a men's shed is part of that. Building relationships with others, and that gives meaning to life.
Yeah, absolutely. And like you said, I mean, I love what you've just mentioned there before, because sometimes, unfortunately, people don't get to find places like these, because, you know, to me, I didn't know until I actually went driving around and I had to make a call and found that this place existed. Because if I can find it, I'm willing to make the effort to share the same information of like, hey, look, there's a shed here. Take the time to just, as you mentioned, visit, see what it's like. And you know, if it's something you're interested in going with, following through with, then talk to you.
It looks very small from the front, but there's a lot more to it than the looks at the front.
Yeah, I can vouch for that. I was surprised too myself. And so, before we wrap up, how can they get a hold of you or contact you?
My phone number, perhaps is the easiest one, 0403 04 5518. Yeah, and Graham Watkins is my name.
And
I'm
also,
the president. You
guys have a website too as well that
Yes.
is on. So I'll add those links in the details too below. And yeah, to wrap things up, like I said, any final thoughts?
You're just welcome always to come and see. I think you'll find something that you'd like to try out. You might find it a bit scary to start with, but don't be afraid. I'm a shy person myself, and I get on quite well with everybody here.
Graham, thanks again. It's been an absolute pleasure having you on today's show. So once again, thank you for your time.